DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Wayne Miller.
This is This Movie Time.
It is. And we have a weighty subject today.
Oh my gosh, the world is so hot with warfare. Nothing more hot than the Middle East.
What's interesting, and of course the movie we're reviewing is Beirut.
Beirut.
And just the night before I went to a screening, that on the ABC Evening News, David Muir, the anchor, was broadcasting from Beirut because the big news was, how hard that the U.S. was going to hit Syria,
Yeah.
how would Russia react, and that's what made this movie, even though it starts out in 1972 and then it jumps to 1982. It takes place like 36 years ago, but yet some of the things are still very relevant and that powder keg of the Middle East.
Well, John Hamm plays the alcoholic James Bond.
Yes.
In the Lebanese Civil War in the 1980s.
Even though that he's drunk and he's got stubble and he kind of like, looks like that he's really been kind of beaten up by life, that he still has that old Hollywood handsomeness about him.
Oh, it carried Grant shabby.
That's exactly what, shabby Cary Grant, that's exactly what I thought. And of course, a big star, the people from the TV series Mad Men. And very good, but he does a good job in this movie, as well as other movies that sometimes that he plays one of the supporting characters. And I was thinking, I believe he was in The Town, the Ben Affleck
Yes, he was,
movie,
right, yeah.
And played, I believe, a police officer, FBI agent, something like that. He brings a gravitas to his roles that I think is very good, which suits him fine in this movie.
And following up on that, I think this will make him a more bankable star as the lead. I think he can do it. Now, I see them playing around with Rosamund Pike's name coming before his, but it's not the role.
Well, and of course, she was known for Gone Girl. That's what got her.
And recently, 7 Days in Entebbe.
Yes.
Yeah, where she played a hard ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here, it's kind of, I didn't quite, but even though the acting was good, there were some parts of great actors that I just didn't buy their characters. Another good one is Dean Norris, that people, TV fans like myself, would remember. He played a DEA agent, the brother-in-law of the antagonist in Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Another popular TV series. And here, he's unrecognizable from everybody that's seen him in movies, that he's bald-headed, of course, kind of a chunky guy, bald-headed, but in this, behind an obvious toupee, that I thought an obvious toupee, but also eyeglasses, big eyeglasses. He was unrecognizable.
Well, but the story is really about, it's a fiction, and it's about prisoners who are being held on each side.
Yes.
And you have the PLO involved, and who knows who else.
Mossad from the Israelis,
right.
Yes.
And so you're looking to exchange prisoners, and Hamm is brought in as an accomplished negotiator. Mm-hmm. He's now doing labor stuff stateside.
Yeah.
And they bring him in because he is good friends with one of the prisoners who's being exchanged.
A former friend of his from his earlier days in Beirut.
And I'd like to say, beside Brad Anderson being the director, and he did The Machinist in Trans-Siberia.
Yes.
But the writer is Tony Gilroy, who wrote Michael Clayton, and he was a producer of Nightcrawler. I don't know if he wrote Nightcrawler, he might have. But anyway, we have some accomplished stuff going on here.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because since the writer also wrote Michael Clayton, which I thought was a very good film, you could almost see George Clooney in this film.
Oh, yes.
Because he was kind of an attorney fixer in Michael Clayton.
Very good.
And you could see him with some stubble and battling alcoholism. And there's so much I'd like to say, but it would give away the plot for people who'd like to see this. What kind of led him down kind of a bad trail, of alcoholism and stuff like that. But, you get the sense of redemption.
Well, don't you think one of the limitations of the film is that it really is a boilerplate spy story?
I'm glad that you brought that up, because if I had anything that I would quibble about the movie was the very pat ending. There's something about
Yes.
the ending that, and not to give away any of the
I
plot
know.
lines, but a lot of things are kind of tied up,
And Wayne, in that ending, how can that be possible? How can the bad guys, who are really pretty smart, allow that to happen?
well, yeah. Well, and as they kind of drive away in kind of the sunset, and then on half of the screen is an American flag waving, and then they show newsreel clips of the Marine Corps barracks that was bombed in Beirut, shortly after that, and all the Israeli invasion of Lebanon. And of course, Lebanon, unfortunately, is kind of like a pawn between Syria and Iran and Iraq
And Israel.
and Israel
Yes.
and the U.S.
Oh,
and
my Lord.
Well, I remember the one thing, I think the best thing I like about the movie is the Beirut set. Where did they find like a town that could stand in for a devastated Beirut?
Morocco.
Is that where it was
That's where
filmed?
it's filmed.
Because it was,
Yes.
I was amazed, and I thought that was the best part of the thing.
Well, except you have your little pots of fire here, and the bombs in the background. You do have some pretty
That's
stock
true.
stuff.
Especially the little bonfires, and stuff. It kind of looks like something you'd see out of a movie, American movie about the Depression. The
Yes,
people,
yes.
all huddled around getting warmth from a trash can full
But
of
look
fire.
at this. To me, it was enjoyable,
Mhm.
and I was telling a friend who was there with me that one of the reasons I like these films, as Mary Arena and I did last week, Foxtrot, which is also more about Israel, and I thought very illuminating about that tough warfare. But these films about the Middle East, these two in particular, Beirut and Foxtrot, help give me a sense of order out of chaos. I think I understand it a little bit better than when I went in.
Yeah, I do too, because it's, and of course I'm a historian.
Yeah.
I like reading this stuff, and I can't tell you who's really basically in charge of Lebanon now. It's almost like a board game, like Stratego or Risk. It's just kind of like, but the one thing that that I've read about in the past, and how sad it is, what's happened to Beirut, is I remember one time that it was called the Paris of the Middle East.
Yes, you're right.
Very cosmopolitan, beautiful, and the movie opens with people frolicking on the beaches, and the beautiful terraces and gardens and everything. That was really a very beautiful city. Then, because of the Israeli invasions and civil war in the country, and Syria invading it, all this stuff, and which the one thing, it really makes it a kind of a powerful movie right now because of everything that's happening over there, particularly Syria and stuff. So it kind of puts some of the stuff in context, that even though it's like 3 to 4 decades ago, nothing really changes in that part of the globe.
Thank
It
you.
never will.
Wayne Miller, the film is Beirut. I'm not sure we have made order out of chaos here in our
Sure
discussion.
We have.
Okay.
We always do.
Well then,
And like, I could kind of draw like a little diagram.
no,
of
please,
different,
no,
and
nor do I want to hear anything about the plot from you at this point. All I want is the grade you are applying to the
I'm
film.
going to give it a B minus.
All right,
Yeah.
and I'm going to give it a B.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not a B movie. It's a really good, fine movie.
And a lot of reviews I've read about it, they usually give it like a B plus.
Yes.
And I think because probably the acting.
Okay.
Yep.
But I think we ought to go to Iceland and Germany rather than going over to Lebanon.
I don't think we'd have a lot of fun in Beirut.